Welcome to the Business Challenges podcast, brought to you by the West Country Business Show, where we empower businesses within the Southwest. Welcome back to the Challenges podcast, hosted by the West Country Business Show. And today we have Hayley Smith on the sofa with me from Myriad. How are you doing? You okay?
Good, thank you.
Good. Brilliant. We're going to be talking all about CRM automation today and business challenges. But before we start, just tell me a little bit about yourself and your business, really.
Yeah, so I started Myriad just over 5 years ago now.
Okay.
I'd spent sort of quite a few years in the corporate industry trying to sort of streamline those businesses. And in the end, I burnt out and decided I wanted to be able to help small businesses. They don't have the big budget that corporate companies do.
No.
So considering I'm a tech geek, I wanted to create a business that helps small businesses and help them streamline themselves instead of spending all their time doing admin. And that's just because I grew up in a household where they ran their own business, so spent a lot of time doing admin for their own business. So I wanted to be able to help. And so that's what I do. I go in, I help streamline people's businesses, help them with bits of tech and streamline whatever it needs doing. So if they've got a task that they do repetitively, we look at how can we make that go from A to B without needing human intervention that gets them more information and allows them to do their job better before they even have a chat with the client. So.
Definitely. I mean, that around that also automation side of things, if you can have that and you've set that up and it's going in the background and it sort of filters down into that funnel to then effectively, I suppose, on the sales side of things, gives you a warm lead.
So it's something as simple as having most people on their websites have a contact form. That contact form comes into your email, you manually reply.
Yeah.
But if that form actually, based on the answers that somebody selects from that form, goes, I'm interested in CRM automation. So therefore then that response can actually, we can have an automatic response. The information they filled in goes straight into your CRM, so you don't have to double entry anything.
Perfect.
And it will give them a response with maybe a guide of what to expect and when to expect a phone call, or here's my meeting link, book in an available time, we'll chat. In the meantime, here's a guide to help you through what we might be chatting about. So at least then they're prepared for the call as well.
Yeah.
And by then you've obviously pre-qualified them as well because they're interested, they've got the information. If they book a call, you know that they're already a warm lead.
Exactly. And it saves a lot of time.
Massive
legwork for yourself on the first initial stages, and you're speaking to someone that's interested. Like you said, it's pre-qualified already.
Even if it only saves you 2 minutes of replying to an email, over time that can build up to a lot of free time saved.
I think the data entry side on the CRM is a big thing because everybody loves data entry, don't they?
Yes.
Definitely. So what's one business decision that you made purely for profit that you actually regret?
I don't think I've made any decisions that I regret.
Okay.
I tend to make decisions based on data. So looking at, how it can reflect positively or negatively. But also thinking about myself as well. Have I got time for whatever this decision is going to be? Yeah. Have I got time to put the effort into it? If it's maybe launching a new product, do I need to launch a new product right now just because everyone says you should be launching a new one? How can I devote the time it needs to give the expertise? Yeah. But I think every decision I've ever made has had a learning background to it. So I think, even if you do something, it doesn't work as well as expected, you go, well, actually, I've learned from that. So why would I regret it?
Definitely.
So, I don't like to look and regret things.
Yeah, well, just to pick up on one thing, time. I mean, a lot of the people that be watching this, listening to us talk, time for a small business specifically is huge because the main constraint is, do I have time for that? I don't feel like I've got any more time at the moment. I'm working all the hours under the sun, working into the night to make sure I've got everything done because I want my startup, small business to succeed. And it's a massive thing, isn't it, obviously?
Well, we all go into business for a reason, and usually it's a better work-life balance to gain some time back. Yeah. But when people start the business, they realise that actually they put a lot more time into it. So being able to streamline as much as possible within a business helps give you that balance that you're looking for, why you did it in the first place.
Definitely. Have you ever felt imposter syndrome?
Oh, yeah, all the time. All the time.
Yeah. As a role as a business owner, sometimes you do.
Things go wrong, unexpected things crop up, and you go, was that my fault? Did I do it? Am I not good enough? But then you've just got to step back and go, no, who else could have done this? Who else could have found, especially when you end up solving it and you go, who else could have done that or would have put the time and the effort into that? They would have just gone, oh, no, you need to go speak to this person. I don't deal with that. And me, I'm not one of those people. I'll only, do that if I really can't do it and go, sorry, that's gone beyond my capability.
Yeah.
But usually it's just like, you'll always feel a little bit of imposter syndrome because you're doing something you feel like you shouldn't brag sometimes.
Yeah.
And really, there's no harm in it. So
no, there isn't.
Yes, I do feel imposter syndrome.
And I think it's important as well, like you touched on there, just to expectations to your clients. If you can't do something or can't deliver it and you don't feel like you can, tell them that this is going to take longer than your expectations.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always worth making sure, and I use this throughout the whole of my career, and it's always under promise and over deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And I carry that through with me. I'd rather tell them a longer time frame and have it done quicker. Yeah. And they'll go, oh my God, thank you. I didn't expect it. Like, well, I was able to do it, but I couldn't guarantee it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you something if I can't guarantee it.
No, exactly. What's the one risk you regret not taking? Is there anything that you've looked back on and thought, with the benefits of hindsight, I wish I did that at the time. That could have really benefited. You never really know how it's going to go. But is there anything that stands out to you that you wish you did in the past?
I don't think so. No, really, not really. No. I believe in everything happens for a reason, and the classic case is COVID.
Yeah.
We went through COVID. I started my business literally 4 months before COVID. So not a great time. And I remember the month I started my business, my husband got made redundant for the first time. So it was like, oh my God, damn, what are we going to do? So I just literally pushed and made the business work. Mm-hmm. He got made redundant again during COVID again. But because he got made redundant the first time, we actually cancelled a holiday we were due to go on.
Okay.
We were due to go in 2020. So it kind of all led on. And there were a couple of little domino things that we've looked at that if we had carried on that original plan, we'd be even worse off now.
Yeah.
But sometimes I believe life intervenes and everything happens for a reason.
You just change direction and pivot, and it's a part of being a business owner to see that coming and to.
I think there's no, when you're running a business, there's no point in looking back and regretting things.
No,
you've done what you did for a reason. You made that choice for a reason.
Own it.
Yeah, own it. Move on and crack on to the next thing that needs your time and energy in it.
Definitely. Now, this is something, and I just, before I go on to the next bit, I was going to say that, you launching 4 months before lockdown, obviously challenges, we did exactly the same. We're in the same boat. We launched in COVID, a company that, supplies mass gatherings, when we weren't allowed to. So, sometimes, these crazy ideas, you've just got to go through with them, fulfill them, and just sort of, that itch that needs to be scratched. You've got to go for it. And if you're passionate about it and you know that you can do things and do it better than other companies potentially, you've got to do it and you've got to try.
You have to start somewhere.
Exactly, 100%. Now, this is an area that, especially at this moment in time with change of governments, the budget and everything, everybody's starting to feel that pinch. And everything reflects on that. And as we've gone through growth over the last couple of years, price points have changed. Have you ever, with changing sort of price points with your product or your service, in fact, have you ever had any backlash at all from maybe, I don't know if you've increased current clients or are you more expensive than other companies? Have you ever had that backlash?
Sometimes, yeah. And small businesses do struggle with budget sometimes. So every cost increase is tough, but it is needed, unfortunately, with inflation moving and things like that. It costs us in the long run, and we've still got to pay taxes and insurances and things like that, and all of those go up as well.
Yeah.
And you have to put the cost somewhere, otherwise we're back working for minimum wage, and we're beholden essentially. Yeah. So it's all about, I think, making the right balance. I've not really had a backlash. I've had clients before who've said, "Oh, I can't really afford that. We were talking about reducing hours anyway."
Yeah.
So it kind of was mutual agreements, but never really a big backlash.
Okay, that's fine.
I think if you pay for something, as long as people know they're getting that good service, and they know that you're worth it, then it's not a problem.
It's all about that trusted brand as well. If you're a trusted brand, you've delivered, everybody knows that prices on different areas of business aspects go up, increase in price. So like you said, you've got to put that, those extra expenses, the expenses have got to be paid from somewhere, which is,
And with technology moving so fast, we have to constantly be training and upskilling in the new tech, in the new systems, in AI.
Yeah.
It's a lot around AI, which I only scratch the surface of. But I do work with other people who do custom AI projects because that's sort of part and parcel with what we do now. AI is inbuilt into anything, and it doesn't have to be something like ChatGPT or Gemini where you have a conversation with it. It could be something as simple as a quote calculator on your website, but using AI to create the quote for you.
Definitely.
So we have to make sure we're moving with the times because else people are going to be left behind. So paying for upskilling and going to shows and training events, that all costs money.
Yeah, definitely. It all does. Everything costs money. Take a step out your front door, it usually costs you something, doesn't it? Have you ever faced any sort of criticism on how much you or your business charges in any way?
Occasionally. And again, that's, I think, because though some people get the wrong idea about what I do. So when I first started my business, because COVID hit and my business wasn't really established very well yet. It'd only been sort of 3-4 months and everything fell off a cliff. So I very quickly pivoted and became more of a tech VA, virtual assistant. And that was just so I could pay the bills. I had the skill knowledge of so much. And anybody who used me during that time was like, you were way more than a VA. You were more like an IT support company almost. And I said, yes, I know. I said, but right now I need to pay my bills. So, and this is what people need. They need help with the general day-to-day, getting online, getting websites up and running, getting things integrated, and getting work done and getting work through. That's what I can help with, and that's how I need to be paid right now.
It's going to your strengths.
But I would also give sort of a bit of mentoring during that as well and give them advice on certain things. And so a lot of people would say, oh, yes, you're way more than the VA. But then once my brand got established enough, I was like, right, I can actually start dropping off the VA side of things and doing what I really wanted, which is more the consultancy and implementation of automation and systems. Because that's kind of where my knowledge lies and my love lies, because I love playing with tech. It's my favorite thing to do. And, but it, a price is different in that, between a VA that you pay £35-40 an hour for, and my services that are anything between £75 and £100 an hour. So there's a big cost difference, but actually I'm in the same range as an IT company. They charge like £85-95 an hour. So really, I'm right in the middle of probably on the lower end of the range for some of them.
Well, but the thing is, at the end of the day, I mean, I always think it doesn't really matter on price because you get what you pay for, realistically.
Exactly, and that's the whole point. And I know there are entrepreneurs out there that say, oh, no, you've got to put your price up every year. Every year, put the price up. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable with doing that. I'm happy I'm in the right area in the price point for me. It works. My clients are fine with it. And I keep getting new clients. So there's nothing really wrong there.
If it's not broken, don't change it.
Exactly.
Just to end, what's your best tip, business advice tip for the listeners?
I would say the best tip I could give is map out your customer's journey. And that means map out everything you do from the moment they find you via website, social media. It could be on a flyer, put a QR code on it, something like that. Try and standardize that process and then map and go, right, what do you do next after they contact you? What do you do next? And then what? It's sort of the and then.
The workflow.
Literally keep going through and going after every stage, go, and then what's next? And then what's next? Map that out and see where you can streamline it to make a bit of automation to save you time. That's probably the best thing I can give.
Well, thank you, Hayley. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming to the Challenges podcast, brought to you by the West Country Business Day.